222, changing units in the customary system. No, that's not the customary system. The customary system is what we use. Customary system would be like inches, feet, yards, miles, fluid ounces, cups, gallons, pounds, tons, yep. Okay, so as we look at what we'll be converting is certain measurements for length. And the smallest measurement for length in the metric system, or in the customary system, is the inch, foot, yard, and finally mile. Okay? And we draw them as kind of like a staircase or steps, and it helps us know what it is that we're doing when we do our conversions. If it gives you a visual as to a plan and a strategy to solve these problems, then it's accomplished its goal. As we go up the staircase from a smaller unit of measure to a larger, we will be dividing. When we go down from a larger to a smaller unit, we will be multiplying. And if you think about how that works, think of the relationship between inches and feet. Okay? 12 inches. As I go up to feet, becomes 1 foot. Your values will get smaller as you go further up. Hence, your values will get larger as you go down. Now, the blue box on 222 gives you all of the conversions that you need. So as long as you know that you're dividing or you know that you're multiplying, by what, that will be told through the blue chart. Okay? So if you're converting from, inches to feet, you're either multiplying by 12 or you're possibly dividing by 12. And we'll do some more examples of that. But question? For example, 60 inches is how many feet? I always start with what I know. In this case, I know how many inches I have. So to get from inches to feet, I'm going up the staircase, which means I'll be dividing. Now, probably a good idea to get in the habit of doing this. 60 will be divided by how many inches are in a foot? 12. That may look like an improper fraction. However, it's also another way in which we show division. How many times can we get 12 into 60? 5. Thanks for raising your hand, Chris. Are there any left over? So therefore, 5 feet is what this comes out to be. But maybe not as useful there, but if I were to ask you for a situation where it does not work out evenly, you're going to be happy that you set it up as an improper fraction. Again, inches to feet, I'll divide by 12, and you'll say, okay, 12 goes into 66, 5 times gives me 60. Take 60 from 66, I get 5 and 6/12, which is really what, Chris? 5 and a half. Okay? And if you write it as an improper fraction, I think it makes the conversion just a little bit easier. So, Raven, why don't you face the front, work on your homework, stop bothering Africa. She's got enough distractions across the room. 5 and a half. 66 inches is 5 and a half feet. Yes? Yep, that's the metric system. That's the metric system. Okay. Yeah. The metric uses the meter as its basic unit of measurement, and it works off of a base 10. So if you have 1 meter, okay, to get to centimeter, 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters or 1,000 millimeters. It all works on, when she's talking about those boxes, where we moved on the chart was where we moved our decimal. It doesn't work that way with this. The relationship between inches and feet isn't 10 inches per foot, it's 12. So you can't just, it's not a matter of just moving the decimal. Metric system is much easier to convert because that's all you're doing. But the customary system is what we're stuck with. That's the one we're going to use. Now, you will get situations like this where it'll give you 4 feet 6 inches, and they'll want you to convert to inches. Now, again, you can, however you want to do this, you're going from feet to inches. And they give you a leftover 6 inches. So if I say, okay, let's kind of separate the two, how many inches are in 4 feet? I'm going to multiply 4 by what? And that's going to give me 48. 48 inches in just 4 feet, plus these extra 6 they give me. Now I have 54 inches. If I separate the two, okay, then whatever's left, if it's the same as what you're trying to find, it's just going to be an add-on. You're still finding how many inches are in 4 feet, but you're adding those extra 6. Okay? So that's for, well, let's maybe do another one. Three miles is equal to how many inches? Okay. Here's miles, all the way at the top. Inches are all the way at the bottom. So I've got 1, 2, 3 steps to go to get from the top to the bottom, which may mean I have 3 conversions to do, 3 different steps to my conversion. So I want to probably go miles to yards, yards then to feet, feet then to inches, unless you know how many inches are in a mile. Is that in your blue chart? Okay. So just because it's not in your chart doesn't mean that it can't be done. You just have to do a little bit more work to get there. So let's go miles to the next one down, yards. Or do you know how many feet are in a mile? So we can kind of skip the middleman and say 3 miles is equal to how many feet? How many feet are in a mile, Alex? So I'm going to multiply this 5,280 times 3. And I'm going to get 15,840 feet. That's how many feet are in 3 miles. If I know how many feet are in 3 miles, I convert the feet to inches by doing what? Multiply by 12. And we would get 190,080 inches. It's a lot of inches. A lot of inches. Step by step. Okay. We started all the way at up top on miles. If we knew any relationship there under, we converted to feet before we could convert to inches. So if there's more than one step in getting from one place to the next, like here, from miles all the way down to inches, sometimes it requires more than one step in your work. Okay? Now, that's for length. We've got another chart for capacity. So you'll need to write this chart down as well. Fluid ounces to cups to pints to quarts to gallons. And again, as you go up, you'll be dividing, and when you go down, you'll be multiplying. "26 fluid ounces is how many cups?" Fluid ounces to cups going up, which means what operation? Division. Division by what? How many fluid ounces are in a cup? Africa. So 26 over 8. I'm going to write my division that way as an improper fraction, just like I did with the length. 8 into 26. 3, which is 24. How many are left? 2 over 8 becomes what? 2 over 8 is 1/4. 3 and 1/4. All right, what else we got? How do we go from gallons to cups? 1 gallon into how many cups? Is how many cups? How would we do that? Notice where gallon is, notice where cup is. Chris? Gallons to cups. We'll multiply. And what else? Here's gallon up here. Mia? Gallons to quarts, then quarts to pints, then pints to cups. Do a lot of this in our head. How many quarts are in a gallon? So 4. How many pints are in a quart? 4 times 2? 8. How many cups are in a pint? 2. 8 times 2? 16. 44 fluid ounces is equal to how many cups? Try that one. So Key, how many fluid ounces in a cup? 8. So as I go from fluid ounces to cup, I'm going up, so I'm going to divide by 8. 8 into 44, 5 times, that's 40. 4/8 left over, which is what? Half. 5.5 cups. Very good. Yes. Let's do. Let's set up the last. We'll set up the last staircase, and then we'll just kind of take a bunch and see if we can. So weights. We've got ounce, different than a fluid ounce, pound, and ton. Only 3. Going up, divide. Going down, multiply. Is equal to how many ounces? Now, the relationship between ounces and pounds is not 8 ounces per pound like fluid ounce per cup, but it's how many ounces per pound. Not 4, 16. Okay, so understand that there's a difference between the number of fluid ounces and ounces. They're not the same. As I go from pounds to ounces, I'm going down, which means I'm doing what operation? Multiplying. So 2 1/4 times, we just said it was what, 16? How do I do a problem like this where I've got this mixed number here? Africa. And also make the mixed number. Good, so 9 over 4 times 16 over 1. 16 and 4. 9 times 4 over 1. 36 ounces. $35 ounces equal how many pounds? Try that one. Doing you're dividing. Dividing by what? Good, so we put 35 over 16. That's how we do that. How many times does 16 go into 35? 2 is 35, or 32, excuse me. How many left? 3/16, right? Okay. Any question? As you look at, take a look at 224. Look at page 224. Okay, good question. 37 says, can we put 4 yards and 2 feet into just a yard measurement? How many full yards do we have? 4. Is the 2 feet going to bring us over and give us another full yard? No. So my whole is still going to be 4. How many feet are going to give us a yard? 3. I only have 2 of those 3. Look like a mixed number? 4 2/3? Because if I had 1 more foot, I would have 1 more. So 2 feet of the total 3, that would give me another yard. So it's like this. If I had one like that, and it was 10 feet, and let's say 10 inches, and they wanted it just in a foot measurement, my whole number of feet would be what? 10. And this 10 is close to giving me another foot, but what is going to make, how many inches are in that foot? Alex? So 10 and 10, 12 becomes 10 and 5/6. Anything else in that section? Good question. Or any of those sections. Just because we're getting a couple minutes before the end, you got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to have any success with these. That's why I gave you the staircases. So you should never be totally lost as to how you approach a problem. We know how many ounces that we're going to pounds, so we're going up, which means we'll be divided. The question is, what are we going to divide by? What's the relationship between ounces and pounds? Now, don't just sit there and stare at 288 divided by 16. If you can't figure in your head how many times it goes into it, then that means set it up. You can do this, right? So you say once, and then 16 into 128. 8. 18 pounds. Okay? But you need a plan. You need a plan. Okay? Yeah.
So like, what if like when you like the this problem, like you have to set it and you get 16 and you get it 164.
All right, sorry. Just wait. Are you done, Mia? Go ahead.
Like, like what if I had 17 and I had 16 at the bottom, and then I say I'm besides everyone to that and I put one, and I get 16.
You had 17.
I said what? Yeah.
That means, well, yeah, then you'd have an extra, or if you had one left over, you had one, you'd have the 18 and 1/16th, right? I think I know what you're trying to say. If you'd have any left over, yeah, that gets into be, that's part of your fraction. That's part of your fraction with your mixed number. But I'm telling if you had 17 here, you're saying here, like after you subtracted,
Like saw how close he could get to it, and then end up being like 112, and then put 17 at the top, and then like you subtracted it, and you got 16.
17 and 16 over 16 would be 18. I have no idea what you're at.